to execute. So moving forward, I think our guys did a better job of just easing into the game and concentrating on areas and not trying to be perfect.
You know, you put 3 young guys into that environment in the second half, and they played a lot of minutes. Like Marcus Allen had his season high in terms of the number of minutes played, but Honor Boateng and a guy like T.O. Barrett. What was your takeaway from their performance in the second half in that environment?
Yeah, I wish I could have gave those guys some minutes last game, but it was one of those things where I wanted to, because of those travel woes, lean on our upperclassmen as they've been in these situations countless times. But they have unbelievable talent. Their best basketball is going to be ahead of them. And again, I expect those guys to make the same jump, if not more, than what Ant Robinson and what you see in Trent Pierce in their second season. So we're going to continue to lean on those guys, and they'll get opportunities, and I'm excited to see them help us win games this year.
It's Dennis Gates and I'm Mike Kelly. We're at Harpo's in downtown Columbia. When we come back, our film breakdown this week, heavy help is the topic. You'll find out more about that coming up next on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why our agents work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Isn't it time to check Shelter out? Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
When the game goes into overtime. But the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
You could call it swagger. You could call it a vibe. You could call it confidence. You could call it cool. Or you could call it exactly as it is, Tiger Pride. Show your Mizzou spirit with the Tiger Checking Card, only from Central Bank. Sign up today at tigerchecking.com. Central Bank. Strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
It's time to play Walk the Plank. True or false? Real wood floors can last hundreds of years. False. No, that's true. Laminates fumble fast. True or false? Homes with real wood floors sell much faster than homes with fake wood flooring. True. True or false? Bamboo's a good choice for flooring. True. False. Bamboo's a grass. Keep turf on the field, not on your floors. Visit choosewood.com for more truth about trees.
At MU Healthcare, our sports medicine team knows what it takes to compete because we're competitors too. Upping our game day in and day out to be the best doctors for Mid-Missouri athletes. Whether that's competing to be one of 11 orthopedic centers of excellence in the country or cheering alongside the Mizzou Tigers as their team physicians, we've got everything athletes need to be and stay at their best. MUHealth.org/sportsmedexperts. Because we're competitors too.
Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield. I'm Mike Kelly. Dennis Gates is alongside. Missouri in action coming up on Saturday. Mizzou hosting Vanderbilt. 2:30 is the tip-off. Again, limited tickets available. Make sure you get going on 4 tickets for $25 if you want to make your way to Mizzou Arena, and less than 500 tickets available for the game. Tigers trying to go to 2-1 in the SEC, win their second consecutive game after knocking off LSU after losing to Auburn to open things on the road this weekend. We're going to get into film study here in just a second, but before we get into it, what exactly is heavy help? Explain that to the listeners.
So heavy help, what we looked at, and our staff does a great job. Delano will be ready for it. He has it up right now, heavy help. So the thing is, we recognize with LSU, their defense, that pretty much you have 5 defenders, and they are spying the basketball, giving extra help in every category. If the ball's on the block, they'll have, 5 guys, all different positions collapse. So their conversion on the ball was heavy help. In that recognition, we had to make sure that our guys landed on 2 feet, passed opposite, and sometimes out of the grid to create easy catch and shoot opportunities, which is one of the reasons that we took extra 3-point field goal attempts last game. And obviously guys were able to knock them down. So we'll go through a clip right here. This is LSU versus UCF early in the season. And notice the ball being in the post, and they have every single defender in the paint. And opposite the post, you'll have 3 of UCF's offensive guys spaced out. And now the pass is skipped over, and you're able to now play 2 versus 1, 3 versus 2, or drive a long closeout and attack the seams. Now, usually on drives, they also rake and claw at dribblers, trying to discourage drives, but more so pickups. And that is an aggressive form of defense that you got to be able to maintain. And obviously you see them here creating a steal. Again, heavy help, baseline drive. In this situation, Mississippi Valley State played at LSU. 5 defenders below the block on Mississippi Valley State's baseline drive. Now, the open man is a sit behind 3, meaning land on 2, field behind, 3-point shot is open, and maybe a 1 more pass. And ultimately, you'll see the same thing against SMU. They created a 22 to 15-point lead with these situations because players and teams were not exploiting this part of the game, and that's why we ended up going to our ball screen motion, which allowed or did not allow LSU to collapse as much because we had 5 moving parts. So we'll fast forward to our clips in our game, and you'll see at the top of the key right now a drive. Go ahead and play it, and you'll see that Mark Mitchell has the ball. Remember, heavy help. Right. So they have 10 feet to the ball right now trying to collapse, and we wanted to space out. Marquez Warwick is the recipient of this inside-out 3 pass by Mark Mitchell, and that created opportunities for our catch and shoots. The next slide, you see Tony Perkins end up backing down in a Barkley, but also Caleb Grill's man, regardless of what his shooting percentage is sagging off. So we wanted to create a situation where it's inside out 3. Mark Mitchell sets a little ghost screen, and Caleb Grill knocks down a 3 from the top of the key. Likewise, last one I'll show you. You'll end up seeing a created play beginning of the game. This is a situation we wanted to open our game with. On the ball side half of the court, you'll see 5 defenders from LSU, all below the free throw line. We wanted to create one of our best scorers, Tamar Bates, opposite. Mark Mitchell passing with his left hand, and obviously creating a long closeout for Tamar Bates, who ends up attacking left hand baseline. Hopefully it was an and 1, but it wasn't, and he ended up finishing strong. So those are the heavy gap help when it comes down to exploiting LSU's defense.
What did you think about Caleb Grill? He took a quick shot early and then kind of settled in.
He had to check the wind.
Yeah. Check the wind.
Check the wind. I want him to check the wind as soon as he get in the game.
And the interesting thing is that as the game progressed, you could see him settling in. Yeah. Feet were set, absolutely. Gathered, rose on the catch, and was knocking down shots.
So the aggressiveness of Caleb Grill is this. He doesn't think he was ever hurt. He doesn't think he missed a game or anything. He just wants the same results. And that's how we want him to play. We want him to play aggressive because he's one of the best shooters in the country. But we want him to be able to create gravity for our offense and stretch the floor. And that's what gives Mark or even our guards operating areas to drive.
The other thing people forget about Caleb Grill, just because they haven't seen him a lot, is what he does for you just in terms of his work on the glass. He was your leading rebounder at Auburn.
Well, he pursues the basketball like no other. It's like a loose ball that's out there in the air, and his pursuit, his anticipation, but also his aggressiveness. He doesn't care if there's a head-to-head train wreck in the air. He throws his body around, and he's aggressive.
Since the injury, third game back, more minutes last night than the previous two. Are there still some limitations that he has or not?
Well, when I saw him take that charge, I said, okay, he's 100%.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, when you take a charge, you're as vulnerable as you could be when it comes down to landing. But what it says psychologically is that he's past that barrier that some injuries create for those that's returning. And that's what I wanted to see. Is there any gaps?
Be back after this. More with the coach on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
Hey friends, Matzo Matt here for Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza. Does it seem like you're camping in the forest of complaints when it comes to your kids and dinner time? Phrases like, what even is that? And,
we're having that again?
Or,
seriously?
Are getting tossed around like a frisbee at the beach. I know you want to break free from the barrage of bemoaning, so toss in a Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza for dinner tonight. That thin crust, delicious sauce, and mountain of mozzarella will have the kids singing your praises at dinner time. Snag a Brew Pub Lots of Matzo Pizza today from the freezer section in your local grocery store.
Come on. That was me, a proper internet troll, finally having enough, all because of slow, spotty internet. We've all been there. So switch to Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Its ultra-fast fiber and wall-to-wall Wi-Fi coverage have me throwing out likes and hearts like confetti at a parade. I love parades. Who knew?
Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Switch to the bright side at brightspeed.com/today. Limited availability in select areas.
Addison's restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations to choose from in Southwest and downtown Columbia. Addison's features a full bar with over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers, and of course their famous Nachos Bianco. So, before or after the game, stop by Addison's. View the full menu online for both locations at addisonsgrill.com.
It's game day, Tigers. Score big with fast check-ins, short security lines, and nonstop flights on American Airlines right here in Columbia. Whether you're traveling for the next big game or a quick getaway, Columbia Regional Airport gets you there easier and without the drive. Take the home court advantage to the skies at flycou.com. Columbia Regional Airport. There sooner, home faster.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the Svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
It's time to get back into routine that focuses on you. Move better, feel better, simply live better at Wilson's Fitness. Escape reality in the indoor saltwater pool. Detox from the saunas or heat things up with our hot yoga. Wilson's is here to support you, motivate you, and help smash your goals with group fitness classes, personal coaching, and endless amenities. Move better, feel better, simply live better at Wilson's Fitness in Columbia. Visit them at wilsonsfitness.com.
Tiger Talk continues from Harpo's at downtown Staple in Columbia since 1971. I'm Mike Kelly. Dennis Gates is alongside. Still to come, Lawrence Bowers will join us in our next segment. Then we'll close the show with a couple of segments with Ryan Sharbaugh. Missouri in action coming up against Vanderbilt on Saturday afternoon. 2:30 is the tip-off at Mizzou Arena. You can watch Tiger Talk live locally through the family of networks through KMIZ, and in the St. Louis area through the family of networks on KMOV. Additionally, you can watch and listen live on the Tiger Radio Network, Mizzou Athletics Facebook page, YouTube channels, and also all episodes of Tiger Talk are on the Inside Mizzou Athletics podcast. Show your swagger with the Tiger checking card from Central Bank. You can open it today. Tiger Checking, www.centralbank.net. Coach Gates is alongside for this segment. We're going to talk a little bit about some of the numbers in which Missouri holds a national ranking. Let's begin with 13th in the country in scoring offense, averaging 85.7 points per game. Now 10-0 this season when scoring 80 points or more.
Well, our guys do a great job sharing the basketball. We have a low turnover percentage on possessions. In addition to that, we do a great job of having a positive assist to turnover ratio, and I think that's what helps. But we got the talent. Our guys are great scorers, and it just goes into the other segments of categories that is mentioned after being 13th with scoring offense.
Yeah, 17th in field goal percentage, just under 50% at 49.8. I think the number is 8 of 15 games you've shot 50% or better.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're able to do that, man, come on. Yeah. It makes it very difficult in addition to what we create off our defense.
How much time did you spend in the offseason and in putting this team together on this category alone, getting to the free throw line?
Well, I think we're a very physical team. I think naturally some guys are physical, but Ant Robinson's growth with the ability to draw fouls, Tamar Bates, the ability to draw fouls, Mark Mitchell, ability to draw fouls. I think our guys have done a good job. But, again, all of this is simply from the ability to share, ability to space, ability to play in different phases. But think about it. We've had 8 to 9 different leading scorers in all of our games. And when you have depth, like we have it, being able to be the number one team in the country in bench points at 40 a game, that's a stat that I'm sure a lot of coaches would love to have.
First in free throws made at 21, second in free throw attempts at 28.9 per game. And I don't know how many times during the course of watching practices, I've heard you and your assistant coaches talking about playing off of 2 feet.
Yeah.
There was a perfect example last night. Marquez Warwick drives the ball, comes to a jump stop, little head and shoulder fake, gets a freshman off of his feet, lays it in and gets an and one.
Yeah, our player development is very good. I think Coach Young has done a tremendous job with our guards and operating off 2 feet and also being physical drivers. Those things help when you have the teaching, but also the film and the constant words and the sort of the push for those outcomes. And our guys know how to play that way. Their athleticism allow it, as well as their ball handling ability in addition to their athleticism.
6th in steals in the country, averaging 10.5 steals per game. What does that do to an opponent's offense when you can just disrupt them either with hands in the passing lanes, getting deflections, or steals?
Well, in the SEC, I'll say this. It's very difficult to play on the road, and obviously our game at Auburn, we were able to turn them over 22% rate, and that analytical rate was the largest rate that they've had in regards to turnover percentage. So it's a part of our identity, but more importantly, we make it difficult because of our size per position, but also of our schemes and our athleticism. And I think our guys catch on to it.
Vandy's 101 in the league. Mark Byington's in his first year as a head coach. What do you see when you watch that team?
Well, a very, very good team. What I see is a culture established simply because some of his previous stops at JMU, some of his players are at Vandy, which makes that transition a little bit easier. We went through it in year one, having DeMoy Hodge, Trey Gomillion, Ben Sternberg, and Mamour Majak. So that is the one thing that stands out. The other thing, they have good players, man, and he's a good coach. He's one of those guys that have won at Georgia Southern in addition to JMU, and now he's doing a great job at Vandy. Ultimately, the transfer portal allows for that. They have some great players, and obviously our guys have to be prepared to play. But our fans, we're going to need our fans to sell this place out.
And again, a reminder, you can get 4 tickets, $25. Just go online to MUTigers.com. One of these evenings, when we're sitting up here, we need to spend a couple of segments talking about the transfer portal and the future of NIL.
Yeah.
It gets Dennis Gates' opinion and thoughts. You're a very thoughtful guy.
We don't have enough time.
We don't have enough time. We may need an hour to do that.
We need more time.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just curious. We didn't talk about this the last time. It's been a couple of weeks. But you bring in a guy named Jeremy Sanchez.
Absolutely.
Why was it important for you to bring in a guy like Jeremy Sanchez, who, oh, by the way, you bring in and he becomes a captain on your team?
Jeremy has a unique leadership style. He's a young man that I think beyond basketball, he'll run someone's company, if not his own. He's an unbelievable leader when it comes to his peers and also when it comes down to pushing people through adversity. His background is unique. He played for me at Cleveland State and obviously had a year left remaining with his eligibility. And I wanted him to be a part of this locker room simply because there was a need to have the cohesion, but also galvanizing each kid in a way where he can sort of be my interpreter based off of if someone asks, what is Coach Gates thinking here, and he can speak for me when it comes down to that. But also having Trago Million back as a GA also helps in that regard as well. One of the neatest things about the trip to Auburn, it was the Excellence Society, so those donors who do so much to help your program and all of Mizzou Athletics, they were on the trip. Also at the family trip as well, so your families were on board. And on Friday night at dinner, you brought every single player on stage. And you had them talk about themselves, and then you talked about those individuals. For me, that's one of the most enjoyable experiences of the entire season is hearing from those young men. First of all, where did that come from? Where did you get that idea? Is that something you got from Coach Ham or somebody along the lines? Yeah, I've learned a lot from Coach Ham, and obviously being able to build relationships with your players is one that he always have talked about, especially when it came down to earlier in his career. But also now, that's what allows him to be effective through all the adversity, through the transfer portal and whatnot. But ultimately, it just says the relationship I have with our guys, the transformational relationship that I have, but also the personal relationship. These are lifelong bonds that we'll have, and it starts somewhere. And these seeds that have been planted has been planted long ago. And sharing those intimate stories, you know, some were embarrassed. I didn't care if I embarrassed the guys, but it was a great time with our support group, our families, and they were able to just see a different lens. For the listeners and those on hand, what were the 3 points or 4 points that you asked them to talk about their family? Talk about what were the other things? Well, I wanted them to introduce themselves, talk about their parents, what their parents do for a living, what they wanted to do, life after basketball. And then obviously I just ended up putting the icing on the cake with an embarrassing moment or just exposing them some way, somehow, with a great story that supported who they were during this point in time in their lives. It's great to see you. Thank you. Go get a win against Vanderbilt. Appreciate it. M-I-Z. Z-O-U. That's Dennis Gates. I'm Mike Kelly. Lawrence Bowers up next on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
You could call it swagger. You could call it a vibe. You could call it confidence. You could call it cool. Or you could call it exactly as it is, Tiger Pride. Show your Mizzou spirit with the Tiger Checking Card, only from Central Bank. Sign up today at tigerchecking.com. Central Bank. Strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
Oh, did you get us switched over to shelter insurance?
Actually, I found a deal online.
You did? Does your deal come with award-winning customer service?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Does the deal include a local agent?
Doesn't actually say.
Can we create a customized plan that fits our needs? Let's just call the local shelter agent.
For insurance that fits just right, find a shelter agent near you. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
When the game goes into overtime, but the game goes into overtime. The choice to enjoy is easy. Bud Light. Easy to drink, easy to enjoy. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch, Bud Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Dear winner, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
A message about driving safely from University of Missouri head basketball coach Dennis Gates.
Basketball requires everyone to be responsible teammates. Driving requires the same exact thing. Crashes can be avoided by practicing safe driving habits. Please leave all distractions aside. Once you're behind that wheel, that is your number one priority. Buckle up, phone down. Slow down, drive sober.
This message is brought to you by the Missouri Coalition for Roadway Safety.
Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield. Hey, partner with the Tigers and the Food Bank, the official charitable partner of Mizzou Athletics. Visit scoreagainsthunger.org to learn more about the Score Against Hunger campaign presented by MPICS. This guy was a part of a team that went to the Elite Eight in 2009. He was part of a team that won the Big 8 tournament, Big 12 tournament
12,
back
man.
in.
Don't age me.
You know, it's all right. We've changed leagues a few times, okay, since I've been here. So, Big 12 back in 2012. Please welcome.
And
well, you want to read it? Do you want?
2009. You got to get it right.
I said 2009.
2009 and 2012. That's
okay.
Right. All right.
Man that needs no introduction, just ask him. Please welcome Lawrence Bowers.
Appreciate you.
When I used to see you on trips, before home games, wherever it might be, during your player career, how did you greet me?
I'm Mike Kelly, voice of the Tigers, brought to you today by Shelter Insurance.
Or it would be 3, 2.
We got history, man.
Yeah,
we got history.
What do you remember the most about your playing career at Missouri?
To be honest, obviously it's easy to talk about the wins and losses, but the fan support, the overall impact the community had on me. I mean, I'm the only one that stayed, per se, or moved back after my playing career. Yeah. So I think it's, at the forefront, I would always say just the city and the community as a whole.
You were a Memphis kid and recruited by Mike Anderson, right? How much did you know about Missouri before becoming a Missouri Tiger?
Very interesting. A lot of people don't know this, but I had more offers in baseball than basketball coming out of high school. And Arkansas, with that being said, I was committed to Arkansas, coached by the name of Stan Heath. Mm-hmm. So my sophomore year, I was committed to Arkansas. And then when he got let go or he went to South Florida, I can't remember what happened, they hired a guy by the name of John Pelfrey. And John Pelfrey basically told me he didn't want me. Mm-hmm. And Mike Anderson recruited my uncle, Arlen Bowers, to Arkansas when I was like 1 year old. So he was always, around the family, very familiar. So I just really took a chance on Mike. He took a chance on me, and I took a chance on him, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Pitcher, right, back in the day?
Yeah.
Couple different pitches?
Four seam, two seam, circle change, curve. Yeah.
How hard was it to give up baseball, given the fact that a lot of players in your position, highly recruited coming out of high school, there's a path there, right?
Yeah.
To make some money.
Yeah, I was better in baseball.
Yeah.
I was better in baseball, but I didn't love the sport as much as I love basketball. And to be honest with you, I think I got kind of burned out with it. And then, when I came here, Coach Tim Jameson and Kerrick Jackson, who's the head coach now, they really wanted me to play. But Mike Anderson left nothing in the tank. I mean, we pressed the entire game, the entire season. It almost felt like even if we were up by 40, he still wanted me to pressure the ball. So at the end of the season, I had nothing left, so I ruled that out real quick.
One of his philosophies: don't worry about picking up fouls and reaching and trying to.
That didn't work out well for me.
Yeah, but don't worry about it early on, because in the final 4 minutes, that's when you get them mentally fatigued because of the pressure. Correct?
Right. Yeah, 100%. But then if I'm in foul trouble, I'm not playing the last 4 minutes of the game. So how did that work out?
Well, true. 09. What do you remember about that team the most?
Well, being a guy from Memphis, Tennessee, born and raised, Coach Kyle and I are actually friends. We have a good rapport. So when we beat them in the Sweet 16, I went home and talked a lot of trash because I would always go home and play pickup at the Finch Center with all those guys. So that was by far the best memory of that freshman year.
Beat Cornell, right?
We beat Cornell, yes, and then Marquette.
And then Marquette. Somebody hit some free throws.
Kim English. Yeah. He came in and won us the game. a little controversial, right?
According to the Marquette people.
Yeah, exactly.
According to us, I thought everything went as well. And then, of course, he used to lose to UConn in the regional final. Hashim Thabit was, the 7-3 player that played for them.
Yeah, we, that game haunts me because, I went back and watched it. I thought we had a good thing going, and then there might have been a few changes that kind of derailed us a little bit. But all in all, for what it's worth, that year was special, going to the Elite Eight and winning the Big 12 and beating Kansas on the last-minute buzzer beater by Zaire Taylor. And that was my first ever, if I'm number one play on SportsCenter. I think that was my freshman year. Nobody knew who I was, and came in the game and put one down with the opposite hand off the wrong foot. And that was a special year, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's go back to your senior year. Could your team have advanced to the Final Four if you stayed healthy your senior year?
Yeah, that's one of those things that
remind people how many games your team won that year.
I think we won 31.
Right.
31 games that year. It's hard to say because we were such a mismatch for other teams because of my absence. Because, Coach was able to slide Kim English down to the 4.
Right.
And he
4 out, 1 in.
Yeah, we played 4 out, 1 in.
Yeah.
And at that time, I wasn't really shooting threes. I didn't develop that until that 5th year, and that's when I started making it rain, per se. So that's a hard question to ask. To answer because, with me there, I was a starting 4-man. We were a well-oiled machine. We were preseason ranked top 10. So who knows? But that year was incredible without me. I got to see the game from another perspective, dressing up on the sideline, basically being an extension of Coach Haif. And I don't regret anything about it. I think in our darkest times, and for me that was one of my darkest times, was when I went through that knee injury. It built my character. It built my grit. It proved to me that I was more than just a basketball player.
Right.
And I think, a loss is only a loss if you don't learn something from it. And I learned a lot that year.
Finally, when you think back to your time at Missouri, what makes you the most proud about being a Missouri Tiger?
Well, I graduated twice from the University of Missouri. Like I said, man, it's easy to talk about the basketball side of things. Being tapped into honor. I think we were tapped together.
Together, yeah.
Yeah, we were tapped together. That was pretty cool, being a recipient of the Mizzou 39 for the top 39 students on campus. That was pretty cool. And all the academic stuff, to be honest. I'm one of 2 in my family to ever graduate from college. So basketball, that's easy. I won a lot of games, won championships. I'm still around it by the grace of the coaching staff. They allowed me to come back and be very influential with the guys, but all the other stuff was very important.
What do you like about this team?
Man, to be honest, I don't think like is the right word. I love this team.
Okay.
When Dennis first got here, people would say we overachieved. I didn't think so. I thought, we had a good core of guys. We brought in some good coaches, but I think this year, in contrast to last year, we have so much depth. We don't have the man. Like, as a whole, I think there's strength in our numbers. And I know Coach Gates alluded to that. So I just like the fact that on any given day, you don't know where you're going to get hurt as the opponent. And I know the culture is great. I'm around those guys a lot. They work my camps. And, we got a group chat. So love the team, love the coaches, love everything that's going on at Mizzou right now.
A lot of Mizzou fans, including myself, love you. It's great to see you, buddy.
Love you, brother.
That is Lawrence Bowers, ladies and gentlemen. We continue on Tiger Talk after this from Harpo's, a downtown staple since 1971. When we come back, Ryan Charbonneau will join us on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
Which schools will take home the prestigious Learfield Directors Cup as the top college athletic programs for the 2024-25 college athletics season? You can follow the standings of your favorite team or alma mater at L Directors Cup on Twitter and online at thedirectorscup.com. Trophies will be awarded in June 2025 to the winning institutions in all college sports divisions. Learfield Directors Cup, the crowning achievement in college athletics.
Something big is happening at Hy-Vee. We've just lowered thousands and thousands of prices on thousands and thousands of items in every aisle and in every department. Online, too. And on many of your favorite products. We've even matched prices with some of the biggest discount stores in the country. Because we get it, times are still tough. So we'll continue to work hard to bring you new lower prices on thousands of items. Things are looking different at Hy-Vee. Come see for yourself.
It's game day, Tigers. Score big with fast check-ins, short security lines, and nonstop flights on American Airlines right here in Columbia. Whether you're traveling for the next big game or a quick getaway, Columbia Regional Airport gets you there easier and without the drive. Take the home court advantage to the skies at flycou.com. Columbia Regional Airport. There sooner, home faster.
Come on. That was me, a proper internet troll, finally having enough, all because of slow, spotty internet. We've all been there. So switch to Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Its ultra-fast fiber and wall-to-wall Wi-Fi coverage have me throwing out likes and hearts like confetti at a parade. I love parades. Who knew?
Brightspeed Fiber Internet. Switch to the bright side at brightspeed.com/today. Limited availability in select areas.
Addison's restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations to choose from in Southwest and downtown Columbia. Addison's features a full bar with over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers, and of course their famous Nachos Bianco. So, before or after the game, stop by Addison's. View the full menu online for both locations at addisonsgrill.com.
Dear winter, Toyota can't get enough of you. Because Toyota's got 25 vehicles with available all-wheel drive and four-wheel drive. And that's more than any other auto brand. From the versatile RAV4 to the svelte Crown, the sleek Camry all-wheel drive, the Corolla Hybrid all-wheel drive, the rugged Tacoma, the tenacious Tundra, and the spacious Grand Highlander with all-wheel drive to keep you and yours safe. Hey, you bring the action, we'll bring the traction. Always Toyota. Toyota, let's go places. Based on manufacturer's websites as of 10/20/24.
Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield. Inside of Harpo's, I'm Mike Kelly. Getting ready for our assistant coach segment. Gentile is now the apparel provider of the Mizzou Tiger Network. Check out their new collection of Mizzou apparel now at gentileapparel.com or at Bingham's in downtown Columbia the next time you're in town for a game. Gentile Apparel is a proud partner of Mizzou Athletics. Time now for our Socket Fiber assistant coaches segment. Please welcome in his 3rd season at Missouri, Coach Ryan Sharbaugh. Ladies and gentlemen, great to see you. How are you tonight?
Doing well, man.
What did you like the most about what you saw from a defensive standpoint last night against LSU?
I like that we're taking a jump in the rebounding aspect, and keeping them off the glass was a huge, huge key to the game. That was one way they really tried to generate some extra points.
Why are you taking a jump in the rebounding department?
I'm going to give Coach Kyle Smith-Peters a lot of credit here. He walks around wearing a Dennis Rodman T-shirt. So since we came back from break, and Coach Gates has said it, for this team, we went through all those numbers on how we're ranked in the country, in the top of the country, offensively, defensively, steals, field goal percentage, free throw rate, all of that. But in the SEC, if you do not rebound, you're not going to win games. Mm-hmm. And Coach has made that emphasis for this team to make the jump we want to make. It's going to be in the defense. It's going to be in the rebounding aspect. And we've done it on the offensive glass. I mean, we are going. and now we got to clean it up a little bit on the defensive glass. And so far, for the first 2 games in the SEC, we have.
Yeah, out rebound Auburn, and then, of course, out rebound LSU last night. There was a segment earlier in the season where you had 4 consecutive games where you're out rebounding the opponent. I think it ended with the Lindenwood. You out-rebounded Lindenwood, and then back after that, Cal out-rebounded you. So can you make it 3 straight, right? That's the next step. Can you do it 3 straight against Vanderbilt and then go from there? What about from a defensive standpoint last night in terms of the switching, in terms of understanding what they were wanting to do from an offensive standpoint? How did you guys do?
We're starting to build an identity. We call it TPD, tough, physical, and disruptive. And so the toughness is there. I mean, coach, the staff, we recruited some tough dudes, and you said it. And it shows up in that free throw rate and how we get to the line. How tough, how physical we are matters. And then our disruption is in our system. We're a hand on the line. We're in passing lanes. We trace passes. We blur vision. We have the ability to switch 1 through 5 if we need to. If not, we can really hedge aggressively. Josh Gray is one of the best ball screen defenders I've seen in a long time.
Talk about Josh Gray and just what he does for this team in terms of his presence with his size from a defensive standpoint.
So he is a very agile human being. He's a large man. Everyone knows that. But he is very agile. He can move his feet. His lateral quickness is very underestimated. And so he can sit down and he can move his feet and stay in front of guys and hedge ball screens and really, really bother ball handlers coming off screens. But most importantly, he's an enforcer. So every once in a while, you'll see him fly out there on a ball screen and just crush one of those little guards. And he'll end up, I don't know what game it was, but he knocked someone into the first row into the stands. And we love that. We love that because he's an enforcer and he lets his presence be known with his physicality.
He understands spatial awareness, does he not? He knows how big he is?
Oh, yeah.
Does Peyton Marshall know how big he is?
He does. He does.
He set a screen against Auburn.
Yeah. And he laid that poor kid down to the floor quick. And you know what Peyton did also? He used his physicality in that Cal game. And it really, really, really showed up. He locked those bigs up. And then he did the same thing in Kansas. He gave Dickinson a really, really big problem with his physicality.
How hard is it, or let me rephrase it. That's not the proper way to say it. From an adjustment standpoint, for a player coming in, an Honor Boateng, a T.O. Barrett, Marcus Allen's a defensive guy. We'll talk about him separately. But for younger players to understand the difference in playing defense at the high school level or at the prep school level to understanding what it takes to play at this level. What's the time frame in terms of getting guys, at least from an awareness standpoint, to understand what the needs are?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, it's led by our upperclassmen and the guys that have been in the system. That's why Coach even made mention about Jeremy Sanchez in the locker room. But he's a tough kid that understood the system and how hard you have to play and how disruptive you have to be and your ability to talk. But Tamar Bates and Caleb Grill had led the charge for this team in the summer on their level of intensity and their talk. And then the young man that was right behind them, who people didn't quite see coming until he showed up this year, was Anthony Robinson. And his level of disruption is incredible. You talked about how he had no steals on the stat sheet. Well, he drew an offensive foul 90 feet from the basket because he got shoved in the chest because he was breathing down the guy's neck, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, all right, so a guy like Marcus Allen, to be able to be that gifted as a defender this early in his career, is that rare?
It's very rare. But I will say, with Marcus Allen, that came with some very good evaluation. By Coach,
elaborate on that.
So Coach CY recruited this kid since he was in 8th grade, okay? And he is Coach CY's from Miami. Marcus Allen's from Miami. Coach CY's coach, or Marcus Allen's high school coach, built the entire system that they played in high school through Coach CY's coaching. So Coach CY has been coaching Marcus Allen since he was in 8th grade through his high school coach. So he's way more advanced in our system than anyone even understands because he ran the entire thing in high school.
It's Ryan Charbaugh. I'm Matt Kelly. Final segment of Tiger Talks up next on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
You can call it swagger. You could call it a vibe. You could call it confidence. You could call it cool. Or you could call it exactly as it is, Tiger Pride. Show your Mizzou spirit with a Tiger checking card, only from Central Bank. Sign up today at tigerchecking.com. Central Bank. Strong roots, endless possibilities. Member FDIC.
At Shelter Insurance, we believe insurance should adjust to fit your needs. That's why our agents work with you to design an auto, home, and life insurance plan that's particular to you. Insurance that fits just right. And Shelter is known for our award-winning customer service, satisfied customers, and a plan for you. Isn't it time to check Shelter out? Find an agent near you at shelterinsurance.com. We're your shield. We're your shelter.
Addison's restaurants are great local spots to visit before or after all Mizzou home games. Addison's has 2 locations to choose from in Southwest and downtown Columbia. Addison's features a full bar with over 20 beers on tap, including local brewers, and of course their famous Nachos Bianco. So, before or after the game, stop by Addison's. View the full menu online for both locations at addisonsgrill.com.
Hey, Matzo Matt here for Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza. You know, there are very few things in life worth waiting for.
Pizza's done? Oh, I'm on it. I'm starving. I've been waiting. I wouldn't do that. It's going to be really... It's so hot. It's burning my mouth.
A Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza it's the epitome of delayed gratification. So when your Brewpub pizza is done and the temptation to dive right in due to the deliciousness of every bite overwhelms you, step back, give it time, and know it's worth the wait. Brewpub Lots of Matzo Pizza is available in your local grocery store.
Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield. I'm Mike Kelly. Final segment with Ryan Sharbaugh. We're going to get to the families and the family trip in just a second, but I want to continue with defense. Jeremy Washington, our engineer and producer, just came up and talked to you a little bit about the phrase kill zone. Mm-hmm. So talk a little bit about the mindset of what you're trying to get and what exactly that chant means when you go kill zone.
Right. So a kill is 3 stops in a row. And that allows us to really generate energy, generate runs, and really break the game open. And our goal is 8 a game, 4 a half, to get 3 stops in a row. So once we get to 2, our whole bench is up. They're standing up. They're chanting. They're bringing juice. They're bringing energy. They're alerting everybody on the floor that we are in a kill zone. And in our level of focus and alertness has to be at a much higher rate.
One thing you don't know about Ryan Sharbaugh, and I'm going to have you to focus your attention on the video screens. He's a huge Pittsburgh Steelers fan. His son may be the biggest Pittsburgh Steelers fan that has ever been born. Let's take a look at the video just to prove things out.
So this is this summer at the Steelers training camp, which happens at the St. Vincent College. And it was over August, Steelers training camp. I actually was connected with Denzel Martin, who played football here at Mizzou. Big shout out to Mizzou.
Yeah.
He is the linebackers coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. TJ Watt, greatest linebacker in the game, coached by Denzel Martin, Mizzou alum. But he got us an opportunity to get down there on the field, and Banner started racing around the track. And they picked him up on a couple of their cameras and Instagram feeds, and it went viral for a night, and we were thrilled.
How cool is that? Another note about Denzel Martin that you should all know. St. Louis native Denzel Martin, walk-on linebacker here. His father was a first responder who lost his life in the line of duty as a firefighter and has been supported by the Backstoppers organization in St. Louis for 4 years. And so shout out to the Martin family and also to Denzel, because he's a terrific guy and one of Mike Tomlin's guys. The family trip. It was so cool to see all your families on the trip. An extended period of time that we got to hang out with all of them. But how important is that for a coach to be able to have your families with you when you're doing your job?
Well, especially on that trip, because it was extended and we did get trapped in there, so it was great to be with our families. But what Coach Gates does, he does a tremendous job of involving everyone, okay? And he wants our players to see us as husbands, as fathers, and our kids are immersed in their lives and them and ours. And Banner, I think he wanted to just sit by Caleb Grill and the entire bus ride and flight in there. He's a huge fan, so it was terrific.
Yeah, but okay, through the adversity, the players didn't complain. How'd the families do?
My wife ran out of diapers. So we had a slight panic there for a little bit. I think she was able to DoorDash a couple diapers or whatever it is in those final hours. But it was great. It was a terrific trip, and I think you touched on it. The Excellence Society, the donors, they got a really good chance to see our guys in a more intimate setting. And shout out to DeLon King, Letitia Mays, Nick Corda in helping just pivot, organize, roll with the punches. And Coach Gates is one of the most adaptable coaches in the game, which has allowed him to be extremely successful. And that trip, I believe, represented that.
Yeah, and again, I mentioned the fact that just one of my most enjoyable things every year is to see those kids get up on stage and talk about their families and talk about themselves. Let's talk about Vanderbilt. What impresses you about the team that Mark Byington's going to bring to town on Saturday?
They've had their best start in school history. And so they've got a lot of momentum going right now. And they're a little bit like us on the defensive end. So they're turning you over at a really, really high rate right now. And their points off turnovers generate a lot of energy for them. And they got some tough dudes. They really do. They have a toughness to them that has helped them get to this point.
Great to see you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mike.
Ryan Sharbaugh, Missouri's assistant coach. Stay with us just for a second. Tigers in action coming up on Saturday against Vanderbilt at Mizzou Arena. A reminder that you can get your 4 tickets for $25. The goal is to sell Mizzou Arena out Saturday. Forget about the forecast. It's going to be out of here by noon on Saturday. A little more snow, so what? We're Missouri. We're tough. We can handle these things. Vanderbilt comes to town. Tigers need to win their second consecutive game. Ryan Sharbaugh brought to you by Socket Fiber, part of our Socket Fiber assistant coaches segment. What would it mean to this team to see a sellout on Saturday?
Ooh, it would be huge because we do this together, right? This SEC conference play, this cannot be done alone. It cannot be done with the players only. We need the fans behind us.
See you Saturday. Thanks for watching Tiger Talk on the Central Bank Tiger Network from Learfield.
Live from Harpo's, the Missouri Bar and Grill, this has been Tiger Talk. The preceding has been a Learfield presentation on the Central Bank Tiger